I'm still blown off that last segment.
Well, we're going to continue talking about it. But now you understand, I said how conflicted I was. Now, I didn't, as I judged it, if I remember, it was a couple days ago, I wasn't conflicted. I wasn't, things were not running through my mind like it is now and like it was after. As I was judging two fighters. But as you think back at everything that happened, and you even asked me, was it hard to watch? I don't remember because I was just watching to judge.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's impressive. You can separate the mind. Where you're only looking at the strikes and the scoring, not the person behind it.
I never thought, oh, he's beating her or he's beating him. Those things never came in.
See, we talk about favoritism in politics. I mean, like Max Griffin, a great friend of our show, accuses Sal D'Amato as being like playing favoritism. He never scores on winning fights. He was public about it after his last one.
But he was wrong on that comment, and I told Max that.
Really?
Because Sal told me that.
Okay.
I believe Sal said that he's judged 4 fights, and it's 2-2. And really, it's so hard when you're judging professionally, I don't like that guy. I'm going to. And I know Sal pretty well.
Well,
I know
Chris politics and everything.
Of course there is. No,
of
course.
Arnold Schwarzenegger went on his run when, there's a lot of politics.
For sure.
At the highest levels in competition sport.
Right, but Max did bring that up. They had an encounter with Sal.
But that's impressive. You can separate and just do the job. Because I don't think a lot of people have that ability. I don't think a lot of judges have that ability. I think there's favoritism in a lot of that stuff, and so kudos to you for being a professional.
See, I'm naive. I don't think there is. I'm naive, but I'm naive because all I know of for a fact is me.
Right.
And I know how I'm judging.
Well, the referee for the NBA, Donahue, was fixing games and rigging games and for gambling. And
but he wasn't showing favoritism. He was trying to win bets.
Right.
But I understand what you're saying.
But there's people with the alternative motive behind their position or their job, is exposed at times, and you're like, because you say I'm naive, so I trust everybody does it the way I do it, but the world doesn't look like.
No, of course. I would be naive to think it's not happening. You know what I mean? I'm just saying I know that I'm not.
But the reason I asked you the question about was it hard to watch. The memory that I have is when Tamika Brents, who got her skull broken by a transgender MMA fighter, Fallon Fox. I remember that fight, and it was just so sad to watch.
Sure.
It was really hard to watch. So, but in this case, I think it's different, right? I mean, Tamika Brents, she was the actual female.
Right.
Fallon was a male converted to female, so it's 2 female fighting. Where what you judged on Saturday was 2 males fighting originally. Correct?
Yeah.
So I think it makes it not as hard to watch when you consciously aware of that. But I don't think many people are consciously aware of stuff. I mean, people are just floating through life and just surviving and getting by. They're not stopping to consciously think. So I think this conversation that we're having right now makes you stop. I just stopped dead in my tracks last segment. I was just like, wait a second.
Well, and I'm telling you, that's what I did. As soon as I left, it really didn't hit me until I left.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned to the ring announcer, who I've known for a while, after that fight, I said, I think I'm conflicted. But then I went right back into judge, and there was more fights. Then I really didn't think about it until I was driving home, and I've thought about it on and off since Saturday. I'm still conflicted. I don't know what's better, and I don't know what's better for each athlete. And I think, like I said, I would love, but I can't, I would love to talk to both those fighters.
Why can't you? We have a platform. They're fighters. This is a combat show.
I understand that, but because I could possibly judge them again, I don't want to ever be in that.
What if we invite them both to come on the show together?
Again, I don't even think that's...
You're not fascinated?
Well, no, I am fascinated, and it's, again, I'm conflicted about that as well, because the next time both of those athletes fight, they won't be fighting each other. You know
so what's the point?
Well, because of people out there, eyes out there,
When do you ever care about what people think?
Well, I don't, but I don't want to jeopardize Ralph. I don't want to jeopardize World Class Fight League. If you remember, there was a judge who followed Clay Guida on Facebook and then judged Clay Guida's fight. And everybody was up in arms, and it was an uproar. And to the best of my knowledge, I have not interviewed an amateur fighter. because I could possibly.
Well, what if I did it? I mean, I'm not a professional.
I wouldn't want to be here. Yeah, you're definitely not a professional.
But I'm not. I don't have conflict of interest.
No, you don't.
But I guess the main question is, are you Team Strickland? Are there two genders? Or are you Team, politically correct, where you accept any gender modification? Because that's a big difference.
I think I've already answered that.
You're open to it.
It doesn't pertain to me. It doesn't change my life. It doesn't change. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
I know I've told this story privately. I don't know if I've ever told it publicly. So, one of my cousins, and he was always one of my favorite relatives, always cool, a little bit older than me. Every time we'd go to Philadelphia, he had the motorcycle, he had the ponytail, let's go on a ride, I would say he's probably 6, 7 years older than me. So I'm 11 and he's, him and my dad had a falling out towards the end of my dad's life, which affected my dad. And then when I spoke to him, and it's all about the world we live in and this side and that side, which I think there's 3 sides. The right, the left, and mine.
Or the truth.
No, I'm saying.
I mean, they said in every argument there's his side, her
Right,
side,
and the truth.
But I
So-
think in every relationship.
So as the argument goes down, and it involved Trump and Biden and all this stuff. So my cousin says, my wife is black and my sister is Muslim. And without batting an eye, I said, really? I thought your wife was Angie and your sister, my cousin, was Terry. I don't care. I don't care any about any of that. So what you do, I don't care.
Right.
And it doesn't even matter if I agree or disagree. I have a relative from my wife's side of the family that is a transgender. So I don't care. So I'm not Strickland, I'm not whatever. I just don't have a problem with Sean Strickland having an opinion. I don't have a problem with the other people that have an opinion. Why is Sean's opinion wrong? That's his opinion.
And that's a very traditional opinion of the world.
Yeah.
Because the world, most of it grew up in a different era with different standards and different acceptabilities, things that were talked about or spoken on media and such. I remember living in Denver 20 years ago, and down in, I think it's Trinidad, Colorado, is the #1 place where they would go to have the transgender surgeries. So, living in the community and being so close to Trinidad, I believe it's Trinidad, Colorado.
I thought it was Trinidad and Tobago.
No, but it's Trinidad, Colorado. And so, having that kind of underlying, like people knew, but it wasn't promoted. It wasn't spoken about publicly or on mass media. So now it is. But that's always been there. I mean, and I think there's a lot more than you think there are when you talk about not having enough to compete or create an event where there's a special division. I think you're wrong. I think you will be shocked. If you put together a stadium and you brought all transgenders to it, you would be packed. I don't think you would have a seat.
I agree with you that there's probably more transgender people that we would never have an idea.
Of actual competition
Right.
fighters.
Are there enough all over the country? And it's not even all over the country. Is there enough that you could have an event in Vegas, in Tampa? You know what I'm saying? So there's 2 here, there's 5 there, there's 7 there.
Should we create a transgender competition event? Just we promote it. It's ours.
I will help you do that. I will be involved under one condition.
What's that?
You transgender.
No, I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, but your family's not.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they want you out.
No, my kids love it. No, I'm not transgender. I don't want a transgender. But I agree with you. But what if we put on the first ever transgender only competition sport? I just led Lights Out Boxing. They had it outdoors. Tim Cage had the cage in the parking lot. They did it behind the shopping center. Your boy Will Galston walked the belt out. It was amazing. So we could do an event here in Florida. It'd be the first one.
It would be the first one.
We would set
That we know of.
Yeah,
we don't know.
well,
You don't do any research. How could you think it's the first one?
Well, you can Google transgender fights. There's fights on different cards, but an actual event where it's only transgender. Right? I mean, if you go to a karate tournament, it's only karate. If you go to combat karate, it's only one style. If you go to grappling, it's just one discipline. This would be just one.
It's funny that you say that, because in the second hour, when we have both UFC fighters on, when we have the Moroccan Devil on,
Yeah.
Youssef Zalal, Where do you hear what he just did? And I don't know how recently it was. I tried to do 30 seconds.